Hey, what's going on, guys? So as some of you may know, I really do enjoy the Figurized Ultraman Suit kits here from Bandai. Today we're taking a look at one of the latest ones here. This is the Ultraman Suit Taro. It's got a really cool design, and this is the action version, so we won't be looking at the LED feature in today's video, but we'll be doing a comprehensive unboxing and review of this kit as it is in today's video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright guys, so we'll start off taking a look at the box here. This being the action version of the suit, that means that there's not going to be an LED included with this, but you can use an LED if you have an LED unit that is compatible with these kits. But the artwork looks awesome with the blue, green, and orange glowing parts there on the face, and then you got the flame effects, of course, the blue light in the chest. So it does all look very cool there in this very nice action pose on the front. On the side of the box, got basically just the same thing there. So we can go around here to the bottom of the box. Here we've got a look at what the kit is going to look like all built and painted up. So you can get a look at some of the articulation here of this. So it looks like it's going to have some nice articulation for posing. You got the effect parts, of course. You got this cool sword weapon that it's got there. And then again, like I mentioned before, the ability to put an LED unit in if you want. That's sold separately from this version of the release. So here's a little bit on the other side in Japanese and in English about Ultraman Suit Taro, and then a couple of the other Ultraman suits. Well, one of the other Ultraman suits there in the background. So opening it up, well, there's our effect parts straight away. Those are going to be cool. And our very tiny sticker sheet, all pretty standard Figurized Ultraman stuff there. Taking a look at the manual, we've just got a vertical version of the box art there on the front. On the back, once again, the same kind of information about the Spacium Lancer, which is going to be the name of our weapon there apparently, and a marking guide. So again, it does come with some markings, and they're very tiny, as I've done with other Ultraman suits. In the past, I basically just don't use those because they're so tiny, they're hardly visible, and the stickers just don't really look that good in general. But there's a color guide down here at the bottom in Japanese and in English if you want to refer to that as well. We got our parts list inside here. The last couple of pages of the assembly guide there are in color, but the most of that's going to just be there in black and white as usual. But the majority of the construction is just going to be there in black and white as normal. So let's go ahead and take a look at the runners. So here's a look at that marking sticker sheet. Like I said, as you can see there, they're very tiny, but then we do also have a foil sticker sheet as well for a couple of color correcting ones, and like this green and blue one there for the little camera kind of bits there on the head. You got this clear runner here for the Figurized base, nice to have that. Runners A1 and A2 are molded here in this nice molded silver. Again, this is pretty typical to see on a Figurized Ultraman kit, but there's just a close-up look at that there for you guys. So a lot of really great details on these kits, and I think the silver does look pretty nice. Maybe not as nice as the plated silver though, especially if you don't plan on painting. And that also goes for our B runner here. Runner B1 and B2 is just in a plain like bright red color rather than that high gloss, a little bit darker, more high gloss red that I've seen on past releases. So I don't know if this is just something that for the Taro suit this is more color accurate, or if just Bandai's getting a little bit cheaper with these kits. I don't know, but it does feel like a downgrade from the past Ultraman kits that I've built. Runner C1 and C2 are here in just this dark brownish gray color for some like joint parts and hand parts. Runners D1 and D2 are going to be some of our clear parts, D2 being plain clear there, and D1 obviously being our clear orange like effect parts there, look very cool. And runners E1 and E2 going to be a couple tiny little runners here, E2 being this kind of foggy clear blue color I think is probably going in the chest, and then runner E1 being a couple parts there in yellow. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up. Now, once again, love the design of this. Gotta say though, I'm not really a big fan of the red color used for the red parts of this kit. I don't know, it looks a bit odd. I definitely prefer that more high gloss red that we saw in previous releases, but still this kit has a very cool design with all the details and everything. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. And I'll first just mention about the stickers, the little yellow vents, the blue, the green up there on the head, those are stickers. Got a couple more tiny yellow ones here on the back of the head. Going down here onto the legs, those are gray stickers wrapping around the sides of the legs there. Here on the side of the torso though, that's an actual separate piece rather than on previous releases. Like this whole section was made up of like multiple stickers, so I'm glad that they fixed that for this release. Then we got a couple more yellow stickers here for this little bit right here like on the wrist, and that's about it. Getting into the articulation, up and down movement of the head is going to be pretty limited. You can point it down, up, not that much, but of course you can turn that, whatever. Here in the torso section, you kind of have 2 points of separation. One like in the chest there, that'll move forward a little bit, and pop this out here in the back, this little section there. And also a little bit of movement here at the kind of waist section, that ball joint there. You can get a little bit of movement out of that, forward, back, side to side, a little bit of rotation here. That's all good. Just like with past releases, the shoulder armor does lift up a little bit like so, and you can bring the arms up to about 90 degrees, and that's going to be about the extent of that. Otherwise, you can bring them forward. The whole shoulder joint does move back and forth a little bit there. You've got some rotation at the bicep, and then a single joint here at the elbow, giving you about 90 degrees bend at the elbow joint there. So a little bit disappointing with that. The wrist is just on a simple ball joint. The hip joint can kind of extend down so that you can get the leg all the way up. I feel like you kind of don't really need to extend it that far down to move the leg upward like so. But the point is, you can get a very high bend there at the hip. Separation of the knee, which, I mean, thinking about it realistically, is a bit weird. And it just came off the C-clip there, so be careful overextending that. But you do get a very nice full knee bend there, as strange as it is. Down here at the front of the ankle, this little bit can move up and out of the way so that you can bring your foot farther forward like that, as far as extending it back. Not really gonna go all that much back at all, but you can get a little bit of movement here. Side to side at the feet, not too bad, and some nice detail up underneath the feet there. As for accessories, we've got his action base stand here, which is gonna plug right into his butt right there. Plug that up onto an action base, either the included base, or in this case, for this review, I'm just gonna use a regular action base. You have these parts, which you'll use if you're gonna use the LED unit. This is a different version of the middle section, which is obviously meant to house the LED unit there, so you will lose a little bit of articulation. And this is kind of the key part that you can use for like taking the part off the back and then pressing the button on the LED unit with this part. For our hand options, aside from the closed fists we have there on the kit now, you also have a set of open expressive hands like this, which do look pretty nice. And for the right side only, you also have a holding hand here for holding onto the weapon, and that would be this guy right here, all molded in silver. It looks very nice. Strangely, this center part of the Spacium Lancer here is supposed to be a darker gray. Interesting why they didn't give you some darker gray stickers here to just fill in that little flat area right in the center. And lastly, of course, our effect parts. So this effect part will just plug onto the back of the head. You just kind of clip that right into place, and there you go. Noticing with mine, this visor piece for the eyes keeps falling out, so just a word of warning to you guys, be careful with that, not to lose that piece. There you go, that effect part out the back of the head does look pretty cool. You can sort of move that up and down, and I feel like it needs to just stay up like that, as moving down is just not gonna look right. But it kind of wants to keep falling down a little bit easily, so I don't know, just be careful with that. As for this guy, this is just meant to just fire out of the wrist there, so you need to plug this onto an action base. There's a hole right here for doing that, so if you wanted to have the kit itself up on an action base and using the effect part, then you're going to need 2 action bases, or at least 2 action base arms. But let's go ahead and try it here as we try out a few different poses with this guy. I gotta say, just kind of overall thoughts about this one. It's definitely not my favorite of the Ultraman kits that I've built, and I do really like them. There's definitely pros and cons. A very common issue with a lot of them is that they do kind of tend to be a little bit sticker heavy here and there. This one, not quite so much. The sticker use is less than other kits. The articulation of the kits in general, even the ones that don't use the LED unit and they're meant to be more articulated, the action kits like this one is, still the articulation is pretty limited, but you can still do a number of really cool poses. And the main thing for me is that the details on the kits look really cool. I mean, they're just really cool looking kits. They just don't really tend to necessarily do a whole lot. So depending on what you want out of the kit, you know, that may or may not be a deal breaker for you. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about the Ultraman kits in general, the line, or what do you think about this particular release? Like I said, I really like the design of this one, so I'm happy with it, but it's definitely probably my least favorite one that I've built out of the ones so far. That said, I know a lot of you guys are a lot more into Ultraman than I am, so let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. If you want to check out the kit or any of the other kits in the line or anything else from Bandai in general, you can check the link down in the video description to USA Gundam Store. As always, thank you guys so much for your support. Thanks for checking out the video. If you have any other further questions, of course, you can feel free to let me know down in the comment section. But until next time, guys, if you'd like to like the video or subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. But for now, hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.